Lesson 3. Analyze the competitive landscape. Competition isn't a reason to walk away from a niche. It's a sign there's real money in it. This one depends on the validated problem statements you wrote last time, because you can't map competitors around a problem you haven't actually defined. Without that shortlist, you'd just be researching companies at random with no way to judge who's actually in your space. In this episode, we're identifying your top competitors for each validated problem, analyzing how they position and price themselves, and finding the white space they're leaving open, then turning that gap into a one-sentence differentiation statement. Have your problem statements from the PDF within reach. Competition isn't a sign to avoid a niche. It's a sign there's money to be made. But to win, you have to actually understand who you're up against and how they're positioning themselves. This lesson introduces the competitive landscape map. You'll identify direct competitors solving the same problem, indirect competitors solving something adjacent, and potential competitors who could enter the space. Then analyze their strengths, weaknesses, positioning, and pricing. The goal is finding a white space, room to build an advantage that holds up. First, you only need to be better than the competition in one significant dimension, not all of them. Understanding how competitors position themselves is the key to finding your own unique angle. A crowded market with a clear gap beats an empty market with no demand every time. Look at not just who your competitors are, but how they market themselves and the language they actually use. And often, your competitive advantage is hiding inside your competitors' weaknesses. First, the competitive landscape map. A simple table listing your competitors and evaluating them on key criteria: company, price, marketing channel, target audience, and positioning. It lets you compare directly and spot strategic gaps. Second, Porter's 5 Forces, a model for analyzing an industry's competitive environment: threat of new entrants, bargaining power of buyers, bargaining power of suppliers, threat of substitutes, and industry rivalry. It helps you understand how structurally attractive a niche actually is, beyond just who you can see directly. This lesson is about strategic positioning. You're analyzing the competitive field for the problems you validated last time. The core claim is that a successful niche isn't just about solving a problem. It's about solving it in a way that's distinct and genuinely better than what's already out there. Back in Lesson 2, you validated 3 or 4 problem statements with real search and social data. Now you're going to see exactly who's already trying to solve each one. Spend real time here, analyzing at least 3 competitors per problem, because the output for this lesson is your competitive landscape map, and it's the picture of exactly where you fit and how you claim your space. For each validated problem statement, list 3 to 5 companies or individuals currently serving that need. Search Google, browse social media, ask your network, and include both direct and indirect competitors. Say your problem is course creators need marketing help. Your list might include onlinecoursemarketing.com, Launchpedia, and CourseMaker. Next, visit each competitor's website and social media and analyze their positioning statement, how they describe themselves and their value, along with their pricing model and target audience language. Then compare everything you've gathered and look for the gap. Are they all expensive? Targeting too broadly when a niche is underserved? Overcomplicating a simple offer? That gap is your opportunity. Pull out your notes from last lesson and get your worksheet ready before you start. Checklist for this lesson. List 3 to 5 competitors for each validated problem statement. Visit their websites and analyze positioning and pricing. Build a full competitive landscape map. Identify at least one white space opportunity per competitor set, and write a short description of your niche's unique value. These white space opportunities become the basis of your unique market position. Next, you'll use these exact gaps to build a value proposition that makes sure you're not just another option, but the obvious one. Back in 2020, plenty of SaaS startups were competing for the same handful of marketing agencies, all offering a near-identical mix of SEO, content, and PPC, which triggered a price war nobody could win, because it was hard for any one agency to actually stand out. One agency chose to focus specifically on product-led growth SaaS, saw the gap in the market, and repositioned everything, their content, their service offering, around expertise in that one go-to-market model. The result was annual growth of 150%, client retention at 95%, and pricing they could hold 40% above the market average, because they weren't competing on price anymore. They were the specialist. Where are your competitors all saying the same thing? Where is the market saturated with one generic message? Because that's exactly where a differentiated position can be built. Pick one competitor and identify a specific weakness in their positioning. Then write a sentence describing how you'd offer something genuinely better in that exact area. And what's the specific advantage you'll have if you target the white space you found? Is it price, expertise, or a different kind of service delivery entirely? The most common shortcut is ignoring the competition or just assuming you're unique. That leads to a niche that's either a me too or a no need. And competition is always present whether you look at it or not. Real completion looks like a map thorough enough that you can clearly explain how every competitor differs from you, with the answer to why me already sitting right there. This map becomes the direct input for your value proposition next. A clear gap is what lets you build an offer that targets that space precisely. And watch for the trap of trying to compete on everything. Pick one dimension, price, features, or service, and dominate it. Because trying to be good at everything just makes you average at everything. Get your worksheet out. For each competitor profile, list their name and website, the actual link. Then under competitive mapping, note their positioning statement or tagline in their own words, their stated strengths as they present them, and honestly, their weaknesses based on your own analysis. This last part is entirely your opportunity, so don't soften it. This worksheet lets you see every competitor's position at a glance, and next you'll craft a proposition that's the mirror opposite of their weaknesses. Grab the PDF if you haven't already. You'll want this laid out visually. Check top 5 competitors identified. Once you've listed 5 or more significant competitors. Check competitive positioning analyzed. Once you've broken down their message, price, and target audience. Check white space opportunities identified. Once you've noted 2 or 3 clear gaps in what they offer. And check the final one, competitive landscape map completed. Once your full map, strengths, weaknesses, gaps and all, is drawn out. With all 4 checked, you understand the field, who your rivals are, what they're good at, and where they're vulnerable, and you're ready to build an offer that's genuinely distinct. This is your competitive advantage calculator. For each niche idea you're considering, note the competition level, rate your advantage from 1 to 10, and that produces a uniqueness score. Low competition paired with a high advantage rating scores highest. That's your strategic winner, the niche where you're not just present, you're positioned to actually win. Write your differentiation statement, one sentence, in this format. Unlike competitor A and competitor B, I help target audience achieve benefit by unique approach. For example, unlike general marketing agencies, I help B2B SaaS founders achieve predictable growth by implementing PLG-aligned sales funnels. Pause here and write yours. What's your biggest fear about the competition? That they're better funded, more experienced, more established? How does that fear actually affect your confidence? And how can this analysis help you navigate around it strategically instead of just avoiding it? Go deeper on this one. Look at your top competitors' customer reviews on G2, Capterra, or Trustpilot. What are the most common complaints? What are they not delivering that you could deliver exceptionally well? Find 2 or 3 clear pain points. What are 3 decisions you'll make to move out of the pack and into the white space you found? A new pricing strategy, a specialized offer, a completely different marketing channel. Name them specifically. Next time, we take everything you now know, your skills, the market's demand, and this competitive gap, and turn it into an actual offer, your value proposition.